thought before, in regards to the building downtown that had the wall collapse,
Mm-hmm.
was it brought up to the council to not assess fines to that owner?
No,
Okay, because there were no fines assessed to the owner of that building
well, there
during
won't
this
be,
process.
I mean, he didn't really, well, yeah, he did, because it was partially collapsed all last year, so.
Yeah.
I can't say why they didn't force him to fix it last year.
Okay,
He was supposed to start today, I didn't get up there to see whether they showed up to do anything or not, so.
okay, but that was never, because in my mind, if, you know, the mayor's supposed to enforce the ordinance, enforce the fines, he was given notice to repair it and never did it, then he should have been accruing fines
That is
that
correct.
entire time.
And I can't actually answer whether that, he was given a letter when it first collapsed or not, but I can look into it and find
Okay,
out.
yeah, because I think that's a pretty big problem on the city's
Yes.
part, when they have a building like that was unsafe. That is part of the process, and we're talking about fines right now.
Right,
If we are going to assess the fines for an unsafe building, then we open ourselves up for some major issues. And I think it was what, I think it's like 20 per day per infraction for one part, another part is like $500 a day. So that's a substantial amount of money that should have been
Mhm.
dealt with, so. And in regards to that, did we get an engineering study on that building, or
No.
is there a scope of work on what has to be done, and how is it gonna be inspected once it goes forward?
Yeah,
Well-
it should be condemned, correct?
Fire marshal didn't condemn it.
Or mark it unsafe to enter?
It is marked unsafe to enter, but if he doesn't get the back of it closed up, we can't keep people out of there. So if he didn't get started this week, then he will start a set of fines for that letter that he was given, so. And I will check on the other one.
Okay.
Still being occupied, right?
Okay, just a question, you know, we're talking about, you know, condemned, if we condemn it, then what happens then? Do we take ownership of it?
We don't necessarily take ownership of it, but you're talking, is this the one we were talking about the last meeting?
Uptown?
Right, but I mean, if he doesn't fix it, we can force him to tear it down, demolish it, if it's unsafe,
On his dime?
correct?
Okay.
But didn't you guys say last month that if that came down, the whole block would have
The
to come
whole
down
block
because
would
they're
come
all
down.
together?
That's
So
gonna
that's
be-
not fair to people that own the other.
That is true.
It's gonna be, I think it would be very, I'm not an engineer, but I think it'd be touchy with those walls around to each other, that's
Yeah.
somebody a lot smarter than I am is gonna have to
There's firewall,
verify that.
there's a firewall between each room.
They've been cut open.
Yeah, Susan cut doorways to them.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just, you know, no fines in place, and having businesses in that whole area shut down for a day, no income, their employees didn't work, and then we haven't fined him, or the owner. I just, that's pretty stunning, and that's what I've been told, is there were no fines assessed, and that's a pretty.
Not to this point, there has not been, no.
Okay.
That I'm aware of, no.
So I mean, as part of the process, then we should see plans and an inspection and possibly an engineering report if they're gonna go in there and repair this. Right, I mean, for liability purposes, John Paul, what do you think? I mean, shouldn't there, if the building's uninhabitable and they're working on it, the city has to be part of that process to inspect it according to our ordinances now?
Right, but they're just rebuilding after a fire.
No.
No, it
It was a
can't be.
collapse.
Oh, it was a collapse.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it would be, the only oversight we would have if there was a permitting process, right?
I think according to the code, like we have to, if it's unsafe and deemed unsafe,
Right,
we have to be part of the process as far as inspecting it.
has that been done? Has it been deemed
I mean,
unsafe?
It is deemed unsafe until
Right,
he
so-
gets
But we
that back
haven't
wall
assessed
secured.
any fines or anything like that.
Right, so yeah, he would have to come back in and produce whatever he plans to do with it.
Did have some plans, did he?
He does,
I don't know if
he's,
he got them written down or anything.
I don't know either. I know he's going in and pouring concrete down in the basement first, to start putting in footers so he can brace up from there. But other than that, I'll have to ask Bill if he's produced a set of plans.
So I have a question on that, if I could.
Mm-hmm.
Are there, so this building is very unsafe where, you know, it started falling down. How are you going to let the homeowner proceed with a fix that you have no clue if it's done properly or anything like that? That it meets code, all specs, with no engineering report, anything like that. What happens if this gets fixed? At the end of the process, you have a fix that it, you know, won't pass any inspection or is unsafe, or, you know, without the city being involved with engineering reports and everything like that. How are you assured that this is done properly?
Yeah, it's not just we don't want just a Band-Aid on there, we want it to be safe.
I think it would be up to him to have an engineer, look at it and detail what plans possibly. Does that make sense?
But is he going to get an engineer?
Yeah, who's enforcing any of this?
Building commissioner.
Is he though?
He is up there, he is looking at it, he is talking to the owner.
So engineering reports are being required?
I can't answer that.
Well, that's the question.
If-
Who is enforcing it?
Okay, if we force him to get an engineer, then he's gonna tear the building down. And we're gonna lose the entire block. So, you gotta decide what's more important.
Well, the safety of the residents of Mitchell, I think, is the most
Well,
important.
I would agree with that.
Okay, at that point, can you stop him from tearing the building down and take ownership
Why would I want to?
to save
We,
the downtown?
we don't want the building. We've already got one downtown in the same situation. We don't need a
You
second.
got another building in the same situation,
Yes,
same block.
no.
No.
The old police department, is that what you're referring to?
Oh,
The old police
okay.
department?
Morris Bennett appraised that building, he said it'd take more than $1 million to fix it. He said tear it down.
The bank,
Morris Bennett, contractor,
yeah, I know who you're talking
he
about.
appraised that. He said it'll take more than $1 million to save the old First National Bank. He suggested that they tear it down. That was the Grissom's group, ones trying to save it. I don't believe the city's in on that, are they?
No, but the Grissom Group has give up on it and they're no longer interested.
Oh,
Is the point of preservation already passed?
No.
We can save those downtown buildings?
There is money available to do that. But the owner has to apply for the grant.
so
And
that,
he is aware of it. Not to my
No.
knowledge.
May I
Yes.
ask one more question?
Sure.
When you say we are not past the point of preservation, is that an engineering study that says that?
No.
or-
That's me.
I'd agree with that. Wholeheartedly.
The building's fixable. It may not be the way an engineer would want to do it. They would say tear it down. But if you go about it the right way, it is fixable to save all of it, but maybe that back wall, you're just gonna have to put a new wall up and do away with the original back wall.
but then is the building gonna be safe enough for something else to be in the building?